Hello. Fairy dust, fairy dust, fairy dust. We're going to talk about a little paragraph from Susan Cain's book, Quiet. Our lives are shaped as profoundly by personality as by gender or race. And the single most important aspect of personality, the north and south of temperament, as one scientist puts it, is where we fall on the introvert-extrovert continuum. Our place on the continuum influence our choices of friends, mates, how we make conversation, resolve differences, and show love. It affects the careers we choose and whether or not we succeed at them. Oh God, I was a flight attendant, you guys. What an idiot. I wasn't an idiot. It was one of those bless her heart situations. Anyway, back to the paragraph. It affects the careers we choose and whether or not we succeed at them. It governs how we are to exercise, commit adultery, function well without sleep, learn from our mistakes, place big bets in the stock market, delay gratification, neurotransmitters, let me say that properly, neurotransmitters, gotta have the southern drawl in there, and remote corners of our nervous system. Today, introversion and extroversion are two of the most exhaustively researched subjects in personality psychology, arousing the curiosity of hundreds of scientists. Okay, ignore the last sentence. I just wanted to relay to you the importance of where introversion takes place in our life, and that is everywhere. It isn't how we think, it isn't how we dress, it's how we present, it's how we, it's why I'm here with you recording in my own home with my dog earlier in the day. I wouldn't be doing this in the evening. I never will. You can always know it's before 2 p.m. if I'm recording something. That it's in everything. It's everything matters. Everything matters. It's how we do anything and everything. Everything that we do, think, say, behave, whatever we choose, our introversion, our extroversion plays a very significant role in that behavior. It's not an accident, that I didn't like being a flight attendant. That's not an accident. Let's just look at that choice. So I also have codependency, and so it was kind of a people-pleasing thing that I took that job. And I also thought that everybody was going to be nice to me. Because I thought it was going to be like in the movies, I guess, or like in the 60s, but I did it in the 80s. And, 80s. And from the moment of my first flight, I could just pick up on all the hate, like all the disgust, all the lack of respect or interest that anyone had in me as a flight attendant, including the other flight attendants, P.S. especially the other flight attendants, and especially the ones who had seniority over me. But, so my codependency trumped my introversion in the decision to do it, and obviously I didn't give it any forethought. And guess what? I hate to travel. I hate it. But I didn't know that until I was in my 50s. I'm like, I don't think I'm enjoying this at all. And you never hear I never in my life had heard anybody say, I hate to travel. You only hear, I love to travel. Anyway, that would be another thing that's impacted by travel. So let's get back to the flight attendant thing. But even though I made that terrible choice for myself and then had to live the consequences of that choice, I had to self-medicate. So I was active in my eating disorder during those times. So I was binging and purging constantly, and except when I was working, and then I would, do it before, do it after, or like plan it for when I would get to my destination. Yes, most of the other people are like, what cool places can we see when we get to the destinations? And I'm like, how much food can I get when I get to the destination? So fucked up. Anyway, so I had to compensate for my lack of insight and understanding about being an introvert. Then we didn't really have the language for it, although I guess by that time there was the Myers-Briggs, but I hadn't taken it yet. And so I had to compensate. And so I self-medicated because my introversion was being challenged constantly by the sheer number of people and the sheer number of stressed out people and the sheer number of angry people. And so I had to self-medicate that, introversion. I had to self-medicate against that to function. And then when like I said, when I got to my destination, a lot of the other people, they would go downstairs and hang out. My coworkers and the pilots and the flight attendants, they'd go to the hotel and like, yay, let's talk about what we're gonna do. And I'm like, not going. They'd go downstairs, hang out, eat together. And then go off and do things. And I was what they call a slam click flight attendant, which is you get in your room, the door closes, and you never emerge until it's time to check in for your ride to the airport. So now I'm in a job that absolutely suits my temperament. I work with people one-on-one. I don't even work with couples. I just work with women individually in my office. I get to set my schedule. And so when I set my schedule, I make sure that I can do my self-care and all that stuff that I have to do for my introversion for me. I'm not going to be on any like long drawn out phone calls with any of my friends or family before that. So I have everything to give to my client. I, like I said, I'm doing this. And so, you're not seeing me on a big stage, although there are a lot of introverts on big stages. I heard Brene Brown's thing go by on Netflix, and I heard her just real quickly tell them that she was an introvert. And people still don't get it. They still don't get us. When are we gonna, and how are we gonna let them know that we can actually get on stage and do all that? I actually have stage fright, which not all introverts have stage fright, but I do. I have it. And so that's why you're not seeing me like out there knocking on, doors and businesses and getting all the opportunities to speak publicly, because I prefer this. Like, this suits me very, very well. And, but I am in Toastmasters because I'm trying to work on my stage fright, and it's a way, okay, so that decision for Toastmasters, that's another one. Let's examine it. I love Toastmasters, even though they make me speak to be in that club. But the minute I went there, it's so fucking organized, and everyone has a purpose. And so if I have to be in a group, let me be in a group of fucking nerds. Like, no disrespect, like I love them all. I have called them nerds. I didn't use the F word because that's inappropriate. But I've called them nerds to their faces, and they all agree and laugh. My first Toastmasters meeting, I was astounded how organized it was, and everybody was self-responsible, and it was on fucking time. It starts and ends on time. And I went full Hermione. Like, I need to get in on this. I want to study this. I want to do this. And I want to be around these people. And not all of them are introverts. There's a lot of extroverts. And there's a number of people who are introverts that don't know that they are introverts yet. You all right, little friend? You got enough room? All right, so it impacts every single thing. And it might be a fun exercise for you to do just it doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, you could do this really, like, go hard, or just do a very light version of this. Just ponder a little bit of it in a journal or something. Or you could, like, do a full on, let me examine all my choices. Like, oh, why didn't that job work? Oh, I was out in the middle of the office versus not hidden back in a cubicle. Or why the boss was such a extrovert, and so he required me to do. Guys, I had 2 extroverted kids. Why? I had 2 extroverted kids that didn't like school. I mean, like, how? How did this happen to me? Don't you pity me? But it made me a better therapist and made me better understand my temperament entangled in theirs. And you can imagine how just as frustrated and eye-rolling I would be to them, and they would say it right here. And so if any of them ever come to visit me during the time where I'm going to film, I'll let them tell you themselves. But, oh God, that would be so interesting to hear all about that introversion stuff from their view and their eyes. We'll do that. We'll do that at some point. And they're really cool. I'd love for you to meet them. And you're about to meet my assistant. He was my assistant before I had her. I think of her as my boss. Hey, Bagel. Hey, Bagel. You come in? So it's in everything and it's in everywhere. Like, it's in, again, I'll give you another example. My first husband, full-on extrovert. Full-on extrovert. And I cannot tell you how many times we fought because I didn't want to do a thing. And of course I beat myself up, and I was like, what's wrong with me? And whatever. The love of my life, the soulmate, the sweetest boy in the whole wide world that I love so much. Oh, he might even be more introverted than me. Like, we are such a good match. And that's one of the reasons. It's like our temperament is so matched. So it's funny that she said that about whether we'll cheat on our spouses. And I remember reading An Introvert Advantage back in the day, which we will go through that book with a fine-tooth comb as well. And she says that introverts don't cheat. And I'm like, bitch, I have abandonment issues. Cheating husband would be a big problem of mine. I 100% want an introverted husband. I was already married to my introverted husband by that time, and cheating was not going to be an issue. But oh my fucking God, I'm just like, I definitely don't need to worry now. Like, I am good. So yeah, it's in everything, and don't you even doubt for a second that your introverted self has helped you make decisions and has helped you shape your world for what it is now. And the way I know that it's a temperament, a personality, but I do think of it as kind of an intelligence. And it's an intelligence that loves me so much. For me, it's like I've been putting the wrong gas in my car this whole fucking time. And then once I learned that I just need different gas, I'm just running on premium. Like, this is what I needed the whole time. I had no idea. So it's in everything, and it's so important, and it's so I'm going to tell you every single time until we figure out how to get it into your cells, into your bones, that being introverted is an amazing and awesome and incredible thing to be, and it's an incredible gift that we give to each other and to ourselves. It is such a big deal, and it's so wonderful, and it's everywhere in your life. even when you didn't know you were an introvert. It's right there for you to see. All right, love you. Bye. Bye, my fellow introvert. And that's why you're watching me here instead of at some fucking convention watching some other person who thinks she knows everything there is to know about fucking self-help. Boop. Bye, sweetheart. Love you.